Hey guys, what's going on? It's your average YouTuber, Unstoppable9426, and I am finally here with my Bespin DLC review. Now, I'll say I wasn't, as enthused for this one as I was for the Death Star DLC, but this one did still have a lot of good content to offer. And for those of you disappointed with my lack of hero footage from the first video, I have some good Chewbacca gameplay and Bosska gameplay, but that's not the heroes that I'll be discussing. It will be discussed later in the Bespin DLC. With no further ado, let's get right into the gameplay. So, when the Bespin DLC released, I was pumped. I knew that this DLC was just going to be amazing. And in a way, it really was. The game mode that they brought in, Sabotage, was so good. As a matter of fact, this footage is actual Sabotage gameplay. The point of Sabotage is the Imperials have set up these generators to kind of hold the Rebel transports on the planet. The Rebel team has to go take out them and then proceed to their extraction point where they have to hold out until the ship can get there so they can leave. Meanwhile, the Empire has to stop them from, blowing the generator up. Kind of point blank obvious. Well, this game mode is really cool. And the one thing that I love about it is just the intensity when you're trying to run to the generator to, either disarm it or arm the charge or disarm it if you're the Empire. Now, the Rebels get their heroes at the very beginning as to when they can, arm the generators. They get, I believe it's 2. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But they get them and they can really turn the tide of battle. The hero introduced in the Bespin DLC was Lando Calrissian. And I mean, if you've watched the Star Wars films, Lando was a pure, obvious decision. Now, Lando's abilities, sadly, of course, I didn't get any Lando footage. Of course, I had to get Chewbacca footage. But regardless, Lando's abilities for the time, they were pretty game-breaking. Lando's main ability is he drops down what appears to be a pickup from a distance to the enemy. But once the enemy picks it up, they get hit with a shock charge and they can't move for so long. I forget what the name of the ability is actually called, but it is amazing. At the time, if you got hit with that, you were stuck there for a good while, and that whoever was playing as Lando would just come in there right away and just annihilate you. His other ability is he charges his X8 Night Sniper, which is one of the 2 weapons that was implemented in the Bespin DLC. He charges it up to where he can fire quick rapid shots, kind of like Han Solo's rapid fire, or he can charge all the power up at once in order to deal a devastating blow to the enemy. It's kind of like the mix between Han Solo's lucky shot and his rapid fire, for those of you that have played Battlefront know what I'm talking about. His third ability is called System Disruption, and this is when he gets intense. He just drops right in on the enemy and stops all usage of star cards and resets their cooldowns as well. So if you had, if you were just getting your star card back from using it, bam, it resets and you've got to wait for the cooldown all over again. It is truly a game-breaking thing. And and that's Lando. The villain introduced for this DLC is Dengar, but I'll get to that in my clip when I actually am playing as a villain. Of course, sadly, it's not Dengar, it's Bossk, but that just goes to show you how in my last video I really put the emphasis on the hero and villain of the Death Star DLC and just how great Chewbacca and Bossk really are. Of course, now, I do believe I said in my Death Star DLC video that I thought Chewbacca was kind of overrated. That's just because I really did have lousy luck with him. After this little bit of footage, my opinion on him definitely has changed. Now, in terms of other game modes that they added to the Bespin DLC, there is a very heavy emphasis on ground modes. And I mean, that's one thing I really love about it. You could get the new blasters, the X8 Night Sniper and ED4, all of which I'll get into in more detail when I actually get the footage of myself using those weapons. Because right now, obviously, I was using the TL50. The other cool thing is this is the first real map when they added Fighter Squadron as another game mode. In the Outer Rim DLC, that really didn't happen. And what they did was, this is when Fighter Squadron got completely revamped. The score to win went from 200 to 400. And it was just crazier because a lot of vehicle buffs, vehicle nerfs didn't happen at that time. And on top of that, for the Bespin DLC, they introduced the Cloud Car, which unfortunately I didn't get any footage of here because I lucked out, found a hero pickup, and went on another Red 5 rampage like you saw in the Death Star DLC Fighter Squadron footage. But the Cloud Car has a jammer on it. The jammer? Oh man, you can't hit a Cloud Car. Not until that jammer goes away. It's like Slave 1's, except the Slave 1 is a lot less maneuverable than the Cloud Car. Cloud Cars are ridiculously maneuverable. Those little pylons that you see right there, a Cloud Car can make those movements to get in and out and slalom through really quickly. Nothing like, you know, an X-Wing, A-Wing, TIE Fighter, so on and so forth. The Cloud Car, on the other hand, is really, really weak. You can take out a Cloud Car in just a couple of shots or one missile. Now, to balance that, the Cloud Car does have a very powerful blaster. Like, you can get taken out by a Cloud Car really, really easily if the Cloud Car gets a lock on you and just starts hitting you non-stop. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't have any real good Cloud Car footage because of what I said earlier. I found a hero pickup and was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go on a Red 5 tear and I'm going to win this game for my team. That happened, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these Imperials were pretty angry when I kept showing up on their killed by screen and it said Red 5. It had to have been pretty annoying, and then a lot of people in this match did keep targeting me. As you see right there, I was desperately trying to avoid their missiles, just waiting on my vehicle repair to happen. And like I discussed in my Death Star DLC video, that ability is so broken. It takes real skill to take out Red 5 because of that ability. Now, the thing about Fighter Squadron that's different from Battle Station is in Fighter Squadron, when Bespin came out, this was the same as it was when the game first came out. You had to attack enemy transports, and depending on if you got to those transports or not and destroyed them, depended on if you got any extra points. Those transports are worth points, a good bit of points if you destroy them. See, like my enemy team here, we just destroyed the transport and our points just went up a good bit. Or my friendly team. Excuse me if I said my enemy team. The enemy team in this clip, I do believe, does get one of our transports, but it isn't enough to save them because we're winning by a very far margin here. But the Cloud Car really did revolutionize Fighter Squadron and then on top of that, Fighter Squadron did get a lot bigger in terms of how many players. I believe old Fighter Squadron was 10v10 or 15v15. I think it's now 20v20. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's bigger. And in the beginning, see, I used to be a Fighter Squadron king back in the old days of the overpowered A-Wing and the overpowered hero vehicles. But it took me a long time to adjust to Fighter Squadron in Bespin And even then in the Death Star DLC, it took me a long time to adjust there too. Eventually though, I did get my mojo back. I did start going on just utter tears with the hero vehicles again. But yeah, that's Fighter Squadron for Bespin, and it was really cool. Now on to the weapons of the Bespin DLC. The weapons of the Bespin DLC are really, really cool. You have the X8 Night Sniper and the EE4. When I get to the gameplay clips, when I use them, I'll go into a tiny bit more detail. But all I can tell you is the X8 Night Sniper is great. At least I believe it's great. I haven't seen many people use it, and especially when Bespin first came out and people started unlocking these weapons, I really didn't see many people using it either. The X8 Night Sniper is really cool because it was revolutionary with its sight system. They call it the Night Sniper for a really, really good reason. That reason I'll get to, like I said, when it becomes relevant in my footage. The EE4, I expected, when I heard it was the EE4, I was like, okay, is this thing going to be like another EE3, but with either more power, longer range, shorter range, what? And then when I heard it was kind of like it had a stub barrel to kind of give it a shotgun feel, I was like, are you serious? Why? This thing's going to be utter trash. When I unlocked it, and like I said, you'll see that footage later, I do use it, although to not as good as extent as I use the X8 Night Sniper. But I tended to actually kind of like it. To be fair, I really just got annoyed with how I could hardly use it, but just other people were going on these gigantic killing sprees with EE4s. I was just like, good lord. And then Lando, obviously I already explained it, his weapon is the X8 Night Sniper, albeit with a buff, because he's obviously Lando, and if it was the base X8 Night Sniper that he used, he wouldn't be getting near as many kills. And the thing about the X8 Night Sniper is, it was pretty weak when it came out. Even to this day, I feel it's still pretty weak in terms of damage. Hopefully, EA and DICE may be able to fix that to where it becomes, stronger to where it can contend with its other pistol brethren. Like when my Outer Rim video comes out, I'll be talking about the DH-17 or not the DH-17. The DH-17 came out when this game first, dropped, and it's still overpowered to this day. I'll be talking a lot about the DL-18 and the DT-12 when that video comes. Like I said though, the weapons, I was hopefully, I expected there to be a little bit more, but just sadly there wasn't. I was hoping that we might get like maybe 3 or 4, like when the Outer Rim DLC came out, I think there were, 4 weapons in that DLC? This DLC, there were only 2. The X8 Night Sniper and the EE4. I was kind of sad to see there were only 2. And now let me get to the star cards of this DLC. This DLC introduced Disruption, in my mind the most overpowered and broken main star card in the entire game. If you get hit by Disruption, your weapon automatically overheats. Most people use that in a crowded room to just go in there and kill everybody. And the amount of time you have to wait before your weapon cools down is ridiculous. Some of the other weapons, or star cards of the DLC of Bespin's, do include the, if I can remember anything other than Disruption. Oh yes, the shot grenade. You throw the shot grenade and it stuns the enemy in place for a couple of seconds. That is best used in a crowded room. You just find a guy and you find a guy or a group of guys, you stun them all and you run in there and you kill them all. Now, back to the X8 Night Sniper. This is the footage where I'm trying to get good at using it. But as you saw with the guy jump packing, it is pretty weak. If I would have been using the DT-12 or the DL-18 from the Outer Rim DLC, I would have killed that guy as he was still flying. But the X8 Night Sniper just really didn't pack the punch that I felt was completely necessary out of a pistol. Felt like it could have been done a lot better. But I did still manage to use it to good extent. And one thing, like I said, the reason they named it the X8 Night Sniper, I know you guys have been waiting for me to finally say it, but when you zoom in, it gives you a little kind of night vision, kind of the scope. That's really, really cool. Like right there, you see, it illuminates the enemy, and it gives you a lot easier time at aiming, in my opinion. But that does not change the fact that this weapon is still incredibly weak. But I've talked to a length about the X8 Night Sniper. Let me get back to the start cards. I already discussed Disruption. I discussed the Shot Grenade. If I can remember for my life what that third start card was, which unfortunately this time I really can't remember. Oh yeah. I'll be getting to the EE4 footage really soon for you guys. But the other thing that I like about the X8 Night Sniper, I know I said I talked at length about it, but this is, see, right there. That's the point I'm trying to make. The DL-18 was way more overpowered than the X8 Night Sniper. Now I'm getting to the point with the EE4. This weapon, in my opinion, behaves more like a mid-range shotgun. You really can't hit anybody at long range with this weapon. It's just, in my mind, foolish to try to even snipe people with it. But for some odd reason, I've seen people snipe with this weapon. Right here, I'm trying to use it, but I can't get the attack timings down really well at all. It was starting to bug me when I was recording for this footage. I do get maybe like one or two kills, maybe. Not really sure, but at the time here I was going through a little bit of lag and I was getting kind of frustrated. Because it was just like, okay, and see, this is my point. The more you fire, the more spread out the bolts become. That's why using this weapon up close is you have a heck of a lot easier time than if you try to hit the guy as far out like I'm trying to do. Miss my cooling flush, get blasted by the disruptor rifle. Which, if I am correct, that was a new power-up introduced with the Bespin DLC. Correct me if I'm wrong, if that was in the Outer Rim DLC. But the disruptor rifle, actually, I am wrong. I'll talk about that one in the Outer Rim DLC because that's when it shows up. See, right here is when I'm going to get a decent EE4 kill. I would have had this guy if I would have thrown a back-to bomb right then before going after him, but I didn't. I just ran at him and got destroyed by that blaster cannon. But in the end, it really didn't matter too much. And like I said, the EE4, I did enjoy the weapon somewhat when it first came out, but I very, very quickly dropped it to get back to the E11. The E11, even to this day, is still brutally overpowered. Like, at mid-range, there's no other weapon, maybe the A280C, maybe the EE3, to another extent, the TL50, which I discussed in the Death Star DLC. But I was hoping the EE4 could maybe live up to that, but it didn't. And that was a real shame for the variant of the EE-type weapon system. That was a shame. And the X8 Night Sniper, like I said, comparing it to other pistols, the vanilla game main pistols were the DH-17 and DL-44, both of which are incredibly powerful. The DH-17, you can just run in there, take out an entire group of enemies that are all clustered in one room. And the DL-44, all you have to do is get within, like, as far as me to that blaster cannon guy away, and you can kill them in 2 shots. Even closer, you can kill them in 1 shot. The DL44 is incredibly overpowered. And in a way, I was hoping the X8 Night Sniper might be able to contend with these weapons along with the Outer Rim weapons, but it just didn't happen. I was ashamed at that, but it still didn't stop me from using it effectively. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Mid-range, the E4 really can be a good weapon in the right hands. Obviously, I need to get good with the E4. And at that point, you can see I was just frustrated. I was like, okay, I've had enough of this stupidity. I'm going back to my TL50. And that's when I find the hero pickup. And now I'm going to get to Dengar. Dengar was insanely broken when he first came out in the Bespin DLC. Dengar's 3 abilities are thus. His main ability is I forget what the name is, but long story short, he takes his DLT-19, which, caveat, is he is the only hero to have a heavy blaster in the out of all the heroes and villains in Battlefront. He takes his DLT-19 and supercharges it to where it fires at a super fast rate. And during that entire time, the weapon never overheats. You can just lay down that trigger. But to balance that, obviously, there's a heck of a lot of recoil, especially if you zoom in. If you zoom in, forget about trying to hit a group of people. You're only going to hit one, and that's if you can manage the camera. His other ability, second ability I'll say, is what's called Explosive Charge. He rushes in, throws a bunch of little sticky bombs everywhere, and those sticky bombs all detonate at the same time. If you stick rebels with them, or they get close enough to the explosive, like any explosive, it's a one-hit KO. You can run in on the enemy, just bum rush them. Like you saw in my Death Star DLC clip, I bum rushed a group of enemies. That one guy that got stuck wasn't safe, and he died pretty fast. His last ability is called Hurricane Strike, and that's when he would run up and just smack the crap out of any enemy that was in his way. And when the DLC first released, there was a glitch with his Hurricane Strike in which if Luke Skywalker, and for some reason apparently it was only Luke Skywalker, at least to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, would get one hit KO'd with that ability. It was very frustrating. And I do mean very frustrating. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That is my review of the Bespin DLC. And for those of you that watched my Death Star DLC, hopefully you got a little bit more insight into Bossk and Chewbacca. Stay tuned later for my Outer Rim DLC, which will be coming soon. I've already started recording for it, already got some good footage. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys in the next video.